Yo, what's going on? Kamikaze Soundwaves. Yeah, I do think that Freeza is the best choice for the 10th person in the Tournament of Power, and I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so not only does he have history with just about every single Z fighter and all of the Saiyans, he also has history with Beerus and Whis. So I think that's another great aspect to have him in, because not only does he have history with everyone, that just begs for great conversation, dialogue, being angry at this person or like making fun of this person because they didn't do good in a match, or etc., for him to be a part of. I think that it's great in order to have him in the tournament. Now, I will say that throwing Boo out is kind of a cheap shot to not have him in the tournament, but I will say having Boo in the tournament, all Boo had to do was turn anyone into a piece of candy, and then we're all done. It's all done. All he has to do is turn you into a piece of candy, absorb your power, and bam, Boo's got you. Now, I will say that after the training of Boo and blah blah blah, okay, fine, fair enough. If you're a Boo fan, that's great. Now, I will say that my favorite saga of all Dragon Ball Z was the Freeza saga. And I think that's where a lot of us fell into love with Dragon Ball Z. I'm not gonna say all of us, but I will say that I did. And I feel like the majority of the people that I know who watch Dragon Ball Z, our favorite saga who I talk with is the Freeza saga. Another great reason to have Freeza in and not Cell, like I've heard people like, oh, we should have Cell in there. Well, you know what? How strong is Cell at this point? How strong is Cell at this point? Freeza got a new life, trained, came back as Golden Freeza. He kept on par with Super Saiyan Blue Goku. And, I mean, he didn't win, but he kept on par with them and not figuring out his form like Goku and Vegeta told him, like, you know what, you rushed it, etc. We already know that part, but what I'm getting at is Cell cannot be as strong as Freeza at this point. Freeza went, he got his new life, he trained and kept on par with a God Super Saiyan in a small amount of time. So I think that Freeza is also a great person to have on this tournament, knowing that he is strong as hell, okay? He kept up with the pace of Goku after all the training, after all the fights, after all the Cell, after all the Boo, all that stuff, going Super Saiyan 3, then going Super Saiyan God, then he's still keeping up with them? Yeah, I would want that person on my team too. Not having Cell in the tournament is because, all right, look, yeah, I've heard the argument, Cell likes tournaments. Obviously, when he played his whole evil thing out, he had a tournament. That was his whole thing, was a tournament. So that'd be kind of cool to see Cell in there. But no, I'm gonna say that I think Frieza is the best choice because all of the history he has with all the characters, all the Z fighters, all of the Saiyans, having connections with Beerus and Whis, and also being able to be as strong and up to par as some of the other fighters, I think it's fantastic. I think it's also fantastic because look at some of the enemies that we always hated going along the way. My personal favorite Dragon Ball Z person is Vegeta, okay? Now, Vegeta, he eventually had to become good, and it took time. It took time for him to go into that role. Now, look at Frieza. What if he gets into being a part of the Dragon Ball world and being a main character along with the other people? Is that possible? Probably not. He is evil as shit, and I think he will do anything and everything in his power to see the end of Goku. But Vegeta was like that. He's still like that. But he still drives him to go forward and do his best. It also would be really cool to see Boo in the Tournament of Power. But I think that bringing Frieza into it, I've seen a lot of people say, oh God, we're bringing Frieza back. Why is Frieza back? I don't really care. I think that Frieza is actually a great decision. It's gotten me way more interested in Dragon Ball Super than I was before. I watched Dragon Ball Super. I'm not super enthralled into it to a degree. I was watching it. I kind of got lost around the whole Goku Black thing and just wasn't really doing it for me. But to bring back one of my favorite villains from the whole thing, and just the whole idea, the whole thought of Goku going to hell to talk to Frieza when he's wrapped in the cocoon, and then the teddy bears playing the little trumpets around him and talking to him and explaining the whole situation to him. That is just so interesting. That is so intriguing, and I can't wait to see it. Now, I don't know what the offer Goku is going to offer Frieza. Now, as much as the spoilers have been let go, I've never seen that it's confirmed that Frieza is a 10th person. I will say that I hope he is the 10th person. He could not be the 10th person. There's a lot of other people Goku could still ask if Frieza declines. Now, is Frieza the best choice? That's what the title of my video is. And I think yes. I think he's the best choice. Not only does it do great fan service, not only does it give him an interaction with the Z Fighters and people he has so much history with, and to see him interacting and also see how actually powerful he is in his golden form and actually fight other people where he knows that he may no longer exist. Is that really important to him at this point? I think it is. I think that Frieza is such an ego-driven person, for him not to even exist, even his legacy not to exist, is still that important to him. I think there is going to be some kind of thing, and this is what my thoughts are. I think something is going to happen down the line where he knows that he'll have to do something, and maybe he protects Goku or protects Vegeta, and they're like, you know what, maybe this guy isn't as bad as what we thought he was out to be. He's still going to end up doing something to make him a douchebag. He's Frieza. End of story. But I think that there's going to be something that shows that he still is somewhere deep down a good person, somewhere in wherever it is inside of him. And I think that's where we're going to get to see more character development from him, and letting him know that maybe his obsession with Goku is more along the lines of him wanting to be powerful just like Vegeta. I think that would be a very interesting story arc for them to go off as well. Now, I will say that I think that other characters are also a good choice. I will say, like, I've seen, like, why not Pycon? Why not, Cell? Why not Wake Up Boo? Why would you take Boo out of it? These are all great choices, but I do think that bringing Frieza into the mix is also really good too. I think that with his connections with everyone, I think that it is a fantastic choice, and I think they know what they're doing and how to bring in not only the new fan base and the old fan base, because I'm not gonna lie, I kind of started to fall out of it, and until he kind of announced Frieza, and I'm like, oh my god, I would love to see an interaction with Goku and Frieza having a discussion and having to team up. That's really interesting. I do think he's a good choice. I've seen people think that it isn't, and they're tired of seeing Frieza, but at the end of the day, I think Frieza is just as an interesting character as Goku and Vegeta. So I am really excited and really dying to see just that dialogue, the first dialogue between Goku and Frieza, and just to see what their conversation is gonna be. So next episode is coming up really soon, episode 93, and I cannot wait for it. I cannot wait to see this dialogue. But anyway, this is Kamikaze Soundwaves. These are my thoughts on it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.